Hello everyone and welcome to the channel Onlineology. This is the second part of the chapter Diversity in the Living World. So let's begin. We are going to deal with the topic of scientific naming or technical naming. Now before we go to the concept, let's discuss that why this scientific naming has a importance in the biological field. Basically, before the scientific names were proposed, scientists used to have the polynomial system of nomenclature, which means that one organism, whether it's animal or plant, they have the multiple group of name, which made it impossible for all the scientists to discuss it together, and even the identification was very difficult with the because of the name the scientists used at the different groups. So to make it universally one, so that whenever the scientists discuss about the organism, their characteristic, or for the identification, there should be a specific common name among them, so that they all know that they are talking about the one organism only. So the scientific naming system came into consideration. So basically nomenclature is the naming of an organism, and the species to which organism belong is indicated by the two words, that is genus and species name. As we know now that we are having the binomial nomenclature, but before the binomial, first there was polynomial nomenclature system, in which there were group of words together put to name the organism, and it was very complicated. After that, there is another thing, that how the scientist will going to find out that what they are discussing about in the organism, or which organism specifically they are discussing. So the binomial nomenclature again played a very important role. For example, as you can see over on the slide here, if suppose a bluegill sunfish is named Lepomys macrochirus, the other organism will not have the same name. That means they are unique, or universally one name is given to particular species or genus. Okay, so because of that, what happen is, if any other person or two different scientists who belongs to the suppose north and south direction, and their language is different, even though there is a great variation among both of them, by using a one common name or universally accepted name of the organism, they can at least understand that they are discussing or sharing the information about the same organism. So this is how it makes easy for the scientists and people to identify, to understand, and to make the list of characteristic of the organism when they share a common universally accepted name, which we called as scientific names. Talking about the history of nomenclature, so basically we all are aware of one type of nomenclature system which is very popular and famous, that is binomial nomenclature, in which the genus and the species name is given separately to the organism. So basically the idea of binomial nomenclature was first came or proposed by Carl Linnaeus, but before him it was originally introduced by Buhin brothers. So basically Gaspard Buhin was the first scientist among them brothers also. Okay, and because of that, he first mentioned that binomial nomenclature should be there for the organism, and he mentioned this kind of naming in his book, which is having the name Exposition of Plants. Okay, and he mentioned and classified the number of plants in that book. Later on, his brother also did the work on plants, and he also mentioned the naming of two things, genus and species. Till that time, whatever known botany plants were there, so all the information he put up in the book, and in that he for the first time mentioned about the binomial nomenclature. But before they could have made it official, they passed away, and after them came the Carl Linnaeus or Carolus Linnaeus, who actually understood this naming pattern which was introduced by Bohn brothers. Okay, and they then he proposed the binomial nomenclature and got the credit for it. He for the first time mentioned it in his book Species Plantarum in the year 1753, and he in that book kept it very clear that there should be two names, a generic name followed by the trivial name. So this trivial name is now known as species name. Okay, so this is how he proposed the binomial nomenclature. Now there are set of rules to write the binomial nomenclature, which we are going to discuss later in this slides. First, let us understand what is binomial nomenclature. It was first introduced by Carl Linnaeus or Carolus Linnaeus, and multiple local names make it very difficult to identify the organism. So because of this kind of problems, this binomial nomenclature made it little possible for all the scientists to name the organism at the same time study them together. And to avoid any kind of confusion regarding the naming, this binomial nomenclature again make a very standard protocol. So in that you are having two names, basically a genus name and the species name. Suppose if we are discussing about any example like Panthera tigris, here Panthera stands for the genus or generic epithet, and tigris stands for species name or specific epithet. Okay, so this is how the naming is done. If you now see clearly over here, when Panthera tigris is written together, if you are writing it in computer or you are using any software, it should be in italics. The generic name should always start with the capital word or letter. While talking about the species name or specific epithet, it always starts with the small letters and it is written after the genus. If you are writing it with the help of pen or pencil on your notebook, it is a rule that you should underline genus and species separately with a single underline. There should be no decoration, no multiple lines below that. It should be a single underlined word for genus, and there should be underlined word for species, and this should be the pattern. Apart from that, there is one more rule, that the scientist who actually gave the name, the abbreviation of his first letter of name is also put at the last in the bracket of the name of this particular organism. Okay, for an example, if we talk about Mangifera indica, that is the name, okay, in which the Mangifera is a genus and indica is a species. Sometimes you can see a abbreviation of capital letter L dot. So this L dot stands for Linnaeus. So this is how the name is represented, but generally we follow this binomial nomenclature without the scientist name. That is also correct. I have already told you the rules. We'll just go through once. Biologists from all over the world follows a uniform set of principles for naming the organism. Then there are the different codes which recite the specific name or specific epithet, which can be globally accepted and identified. Then there are two parts, generic name or generic epithet, species name or specific epithet. Okay, so if you see here in the pyramid, kingdom will be the largest group, species will be the smallest group of organism, and they are having a particular order. From kingdom, if we start, first comes kingdom, then phylum. Instead of phylum, there is a division in plants, then class, order, family, genus, species. Sometimes subspecies are also mentioned. So this is how the hierarchy of classification goes on for the organisms. Now talking about the trinomial classification, this did not get very popular, but it do exist. some of the scientists still use that, in which the subspecies name is also used. Originally it was proposed by Huxley and Strickland, but for the first time it was used and introduced by Lamarck, and he used three words. First was having the genus or generic epithet, second was specific epithet, and third was the subspecific or subspecies name of the organism. This was little complicated, so still we use the binomial nomenclature over the trinomial classification. Thank you for listening. Keep learning. If you like the video, please subscribe, share